let me start with our opening prayer, and then off we go. And I know I brought my cards, so I'm going to have a quick look, but let's do our opening prayer first. There we go. There are the cards. Okay. O Great Spirit, Father Sky, Mother Earth, the winds, the waters, my Father, my Mother, Atanaha, all that is. We thank you for our lives, and we thank you for these good people. We thank you for all that we are and all that we are to become. We dedicate our time spent together and our relationships with one another to Him. We ask that our suffering be ended and our pain be lifted to the love and to the peace that lay beyond. Aho, Amen, Namaste. Okay, so I'm gonna have to eat while I'm doing this, guys, because I'm absolutely ravenous. I haven't had time for lunch today. I've just got some soy sausages that I burnt next to us, so forgive me. But we're gonna head off. I'll do a reading and then have a snack. I've got my Kuan Yin Oracle card decks today. Okay, I'm just going to shuffle them and have a nice clear. The first question is from Sylvia. So she's saying, hi, Sky. May I ask for a healing on my urinary issues? Why do I have it so frequently? Can it be ethuricea? Going very often to the toilet, thank you. So I'm actually seeing a bacterial infection that wasn't ever properly treated. So it may be like what the angels are really showing me is you may want to ask your doctor to try a different strain of antibiotics, but also to increase the length. So when our grandmothers went to the doctor for urinary tract infection, they were given 2 weeks worth of antibiotics, minimum of 7 days. What's happening now is that people are getting prescribed 1 to 3 days of antibiotics for urinary tract infections. And all that does is hide the symptoms, doesn't actually get rid of the bacterial infection. So they're showing me you need to ask for longer and potentially a change in the antibiotics. From a metaphysical perspective, urinary tract infections are being angry at men, right? And it's very similar to candida, which is why they often come together, because you are angry at the sexism, at the way that you're being not valued properly, and you're swallowing it. You're not, you're hiding it. You don't feel, it's kind of like, you feel like when you express your feelings, they're being invalidated or not taken seriously, but you feel powerless. You don't feel like you have another option. The card that's come up for you is the Lotus Throne, number 37. And we will see what it says. Okay. The same lotus wisdom that enlightens beloved Kuan Yin and all spiritual masters is the very same light within your own heart. It can take great courage to trust your own inner light, to ascend the throne of your own inner spiritual authority, especially if the light of others around you seems more powerful than your own. You're being asked to trust this inner guidance above all others now. Have faith in your own heart. Know that you are divine. There are times on the path that we can greatly benefit from assistance from others. In fact, these times are almost always. A true spiritual master, teacher, guru, or guide or healer has the same role to connect you with the conscious awareness of your own inner light so that you may come to realize the spiritual power, authority, and beauty that you are in truth in the same spiritual power, authority, and beauty that you may see in them. Sometimes we might need an external guide to help us make that connection. Sometimes we're closer to our own divine wisdom than we consciously realize, and yet we fall into a habit of believing that others know more what is good for us than what we do for ourselves. Sometimes, out of habit and conditioning, it's just easier to see the divine light in others instead of within our own heart. This oracle has come to you to guide you to trust your own inner teachers growing stronger, and that you have more spiritual wisdom than you may have previously acknowledged, and that will benefit greatly from heeding your own heart's guidance at this time. So there's a level of sabotage going on here, whether it's from a partner or from a spiritual teacher, where you are feeling like you can't trust your own guidance, or your own guidance is wrong. And the angels are actually showing me that it's coming through as inner child trauma. You don't trust yourself. So it's this inner, and especially this trigger with leaving toxic situations. There's this energy of I'll be worse off, or I'm worse off without them, even if they're mistreating you or not treating you properly. So let's take a second, call in Archangel Michael, and just do an energy clearing in Archangel Raphael. So we're going to ask Archangel Raphael to do an instant healing on your bladder and on the area of authority in your life. You are the power in your world. Okay, so especially where someone's abusing you, the temptation is to give them the power and to think that they have more power. When the reality is, we can change not just what we're saying to ourselves, but we can also choose to not take part in the circus anymore. And it is hard, but it's also really, really worth it. Oh, there we go. And I'm getting Archangel Michael coming through. Like, I'm really getting guided to say, there's nothing the matter with you. That's actually the lie that you're telling yourself that's keeping you stuck. When somebody mistreats you and you go, what's the matter with me? That keeps you stuck. If a snake bites you, don't stand there and ask yourself why the snake bit you, right? If a person, who you're supposed to be loved by is really behaving in a really toxic manner and they do it over and over again, it's not what you're doing. It's really that you just have to go, okay, really not nice behavior, not mine, right? Not mine. It's how they respond when they're stressed. It's how they respond. But it doesn't matter that that's how they respond. I am worthy of being loved. I'm worthy of being treated well. You stop trying to negotiate with other people's trauma because you just get that it's not useful. It doesn't help. It doesn't serve. It doesn't work. Right? You're not walking away from the relationship to punish the other person. You're walking away from the relationship because you finally learned that no matter what excuse someone is making, you deserve to be treated well. There we go. Oh, it's moving nicely. Quick snack. Okay. Hi, Sky. I have had a white tongue for many years. Nothing works. What can I do? Is there some belief that I cannot remove it? Detox doesn't work for me. Okay, so I can see Archangel Raphael standing here laughing because it's not that it doesn't work for you. It's the belief system that we're dealing with is what I call superficial self-sabotage. So it was Marianne Williamson at an event in London that told me when I was getting my book signed, you have a choice about whether you play things shallow or whether you play things deep, right? So a detox is a way of saying that you are looking at your lifestyle as a diet. You're looking at as something inconvenient that you have to do to get your health back. So this is a very fearful and abusive way of treating your body, right? I only have to take care of it to get it to do what I want to do, and then I can go back to abusing it. So the shift in consciousness has to be, I desire to truly love my body. I desire to have a truly loving relationship with my body. And you need to stop thinking about detoxing your body. I need to start thinking about, okay, white tongue either means anemia, right? Because your tongue is pale because you do not have enough iron, which means you're not feeding yourself properly, you're not getting enough vitamins, enough minerals, enough rest. Or it means that you have candida, which is a fungal infection in the body, right? Which means that you're hiding long-term resentment and you've got a lot of, passive aggression going on that you are not willing to deal with or taking seriously. You're kind of going, well, it's there, but it's not really causing that much of an issue, so I'm going to leave it. And it is, right? So your tongue is about what you're saying to yourself and what you're saying to others. It's about your communication. So very often when we're clearing, something like a white tongue, you're looking at a fungal infection or you're looking at an iron deficiency. Both are looking at why you are still refusing to make self-care a lifestyle instead of making it a diet or making it something inconvenient you have to do to get a particular health result. Why are you not worthy of long-term self-care? Right? And we're back to superficial. Self-care is not just, getting a latte or hang out with people that you love. Self-care is daily exercise, it's good sleep, it's good nutrition, it's investing in getting the right kind of tests to know what's going on in your body. It's prevention versus getting the disease. It's a lifetime commitment to self-care. It's not a superficial thing that you do every once in a while, like have a bubble bath. That's what the culture sells. Real self-care is much, much deeper than that. It's doing the right thing for your health instead of doing the easy thing or the quick thing or the most available thing. So let's take a minute to just ask the angels to clear, particular Archangel Raphael, any blocks or trauma. I call it a neglect wound, and we work on this in depth in Medical Intuitive. We had another 2 people join yesterday, which I'm so ridiculously excited about. I'm still getting heebie-jeebies from the last round because they're still got such good energy, but it's really starting to pick up momentum now. Oof, there we go. I literally just came off a call with a client where they had blood cancer and their platelets have lowered dramatically and they're getting closer and closer to their goal of completely eradicating it. So it makes a huge difference, this work, and I'm so grateful to be a part of it. And we're going to keep letting that clear from you guys as well. Oh, there we go. You're worthy of unconditional health. You're worthy of having a healthy tongue. You're worthy of having a healthy body. And it's not that detoxes and diets don't work. It's that the neglect wound is really the problem. And whilst you're looking at it as a diet, you're basically telling your unconscious mind that it's a form of self-punishment. And you're not going to do anything to punish yourself. Your unconscious mind is hardwired to move away from pain and towards pleasure. So if you want to move towards long-term healthy self-care, you have to think of it in a pleasurable way. Otherwise, you're not going to do it. Oh, there you go. That's moving. Self-care is pleasure. I kid you not. And it's long-term sustainable pleasure, right? You work out in the morning, you get the benefits of that all the way till you go to bed and for the rest of your life because it's cumulative. You eat healthy during the day, you get the benefit of that, not just for that day, but for the rest of the week. There's so much good that comes from self-care. There we go. Especially not superficial self-care. And then you get addicted to self-care, which is really nice as well. Ooh, okay. Snack. Next one. Lucia is saying, hey, Sky, my partner is, I think, high standards. He's very good, but my mum is jealous of me. Maybe also him, and compares him to my dad. Can I ask for a clearing? Yep, we'll bring in the angels to do a clearing. Look, I kid you not, we're back, like the angels are saying, very similar to yesterday. If your partner has high standards, then it's your energy to stand up to your parents. And when your mum compares him to your dad, you call on Archangel Michael and you say, Mum, I'm just not open to that. Can we talk about something else? And within a couple of minutes, she'll get the message. In the beginning, there might be resistance, but people get the message. If you're not available for gossip, if you're not available for criticism, there we go. Okay, and we're going to ask the angels to heal the jealousy wound in your ancestral line, because competing with your children, being jealous of your children, that's a narcissistic personality trait. So we're going to ask the angels to close the narcissism gene. Okay, that's looking good. Mary's saying, may I have a message from my angels? Yep, let's pull a card. See what they have to say for you, Mary. Okay, 10 Sisters of Light, number 33. This is a really powerful one. So, you're an advanced soul and have lived many incarnations and shone your light through many different faces. Your soul has learned many skills in past lives, developed abilities and talents. This lifetime is a culmination of the lifetimes in the sense that your soul is drawing together powers developed across many lifetimes to unify its expression. It's like drawing on the power of 10 sisters or more into your one current lifetime. Be prepared to grow and shine. The higher self likes to integrate with the wisdom it's gleaned over many experiences and lifetimes, but so nothing is lost and all is enhanced. You are in a process of spiritual weaving and integration on a soul level now. This means that skills and abilities you hardly recognize consciously will become more obvious to you. You may find that you know things from different traditions that you have no recollection of ever learning. You may feel strangely drawn to start studying different healing arts or martial arts, for example, only to find that it's somehow familiar to your heart. It's up to you to trust your heart and discern what feels true for you. Remember that you are one being with the eternal source and that being has many faces, just like the 10 sisters of light. You have various skills and talents, and you can enjoy allowing the process of their return to you now and the integration and healing of past life pattern into new expression too. Yeah, so there's past life experiences coming up for you. I'm not sure if you're dismissing it because I've got Archangel Azrael here, and normally that angel only comes up around death doors or near death experiences or when someone's passing away or grieving. But I often see Archangel Azrael when I'm dealing with the Akashic records because obviously that's a record of all the lifetimes. And I'm really getting shown that you're dismissing some really powerful past life information because you're like, oh, that's a waste of time, or that's just ego, when there's actually really important lessons and aspects of yourself that you are still not carrying or not manifesting now, even though they're in your heart because of traumas from those lifetimes. So, the way that I deal with past lives is that I deal with it exactly like it was a childhood trauma, because when it comes to quantum physics, there is no time and space, right? So, if there is no time and space, everything is happening now in my body, in my energy, in my quantum field. And I'm experiencing it from the tiny lens of a human, but the reality is that you are so much more than your physical body. You're so much more than this particular being that you're incarnated in. And decisions that we're making as a soul incarnate in other lifetimes are affecting us whether we recognize it or not. So they're even affecting, obviously, how we chose the family we are going to incarnate into, the divine life purpose that we believed we were worthy of. So many things are impacted by our past, right? Because it projects onto our future unless we clear it. So the angels are really saying, just think of it as an inner child issue. Stop thinking of it as a past life issue. Just deal with it the way you deal with any other trauma, and your healing gifts are going to explode. Your opportunities are going to explode. Things are going to start manifesting for you super, super fast. But you have to let go of the belief that, the past life stuff is superficial. The other thing that came up in an incredibly powerful healing I did this morning was around past life issues, because the client was really spiritually advanced and she was claircognizant, so she could remember her past lives and she was clairvoyant enough to see them and be able to tell me what happened. But she wasn't allowing herself to release the emotions, the shame, the pain around what had happened, or to change the beliefs um that or the meaning that she'd given to those past life experiences. So she could remember it and she could talk to you about it as if it wasn't that big a deal, but all of the energy was and the charge was still on the past life experiences. And the moment that it moved, you could feel her power just starting to go boom, 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 like the wattage of it, that torus field effect, the speed of it must have, at least 50x, maybe 100x in power, because suddenly she wasn't ashamed of her power. Suddenly she wasn't ashamed of, her fierceness and her self-protection. And, that's a huge deal. So let yourself go and heal your past life stuff. If it triggers you with past life, if it's a religious thing, just think of it as another like as a metaphor from your unconscious mind. Okay, think of it like healing a dream. Don't think of it as healing a past life if it's going to create all sorts of tension. Just focus on what God is showing you and work with that, and it will dissolve. Okay, quick snack and off we go. Mattis is saying, hi, beautiful sky. I've been eating much healthier in the past few days. And to my surprise, I love it. Can you give me guidance on how to sustain this momentum? Thank you so much, my love. Okay. So the first thing you're doing, so this I love it, I love it, I love it thing, that is essential to sustaining any long-term change. The more your unconscious mind is hardwired to move you towards pleasure. So the more you tell your unconscious mind that you love something, the more you're going to do it, the more you're going to find ways to do it, the more you're going to do it in different places and try it in different situations, right? Because your unconscious mind is hardwired to look for pleasure. The other thing you really want to work on is worthiness. Worthiness of feeling good about yourself, worthiness of having high energy, like really feeling good about treating yourself well, about the extra care, about the extra attention, instead of feeling embarrassed when someone says that you're picky or you're difficult for the changes that you're making, because people get people get triggered by people eating healthy, just like they get triggered by you not drinking. So just change the dialogue in your head with what's wrong with me, or am I really being difficult, to, okay, not about me, right? They're going through their own stuff. They're feeling triggered. When people get triggered by your diet, you just reassure them. You're like, I really love what I'm eating. I think that it's amazing that you eat the things that you love. And what I always say that seems to really resonate with people is this stuff is so personal, right? It's so personal, isn't it? You same way you wouldn't go around commenting on the way someone dresses. You don't really go around commenting on the way someone eats unless they kind of ask you. So it's that energy of just when they say, oh, the way you're eating or blah blah blah, it's like it's all right. It's just really personal, and I've just really been craving this, or I've really been craving that. Don't go into diets because that really triggers people. Just say, look, I've really been craving a salad, or I've really been craving that green juice, or I've really been looking forward to this vegan burger. But don't get into the diet thing, or because that'll trigger all sorts of collective consciousness stuff. Just focus on, this is what I want, this is what I desire, this is what tastes good to me. And people really understand that around food. They really understand you choosing food based on it tasting good and it being what you like. They don't understand, which is quite funny, right? Making choices about what you eat based on your health. They seem to think it's some sort of self-punishment. But that it's as simple as that. Keep telling yourself you love it. Make sure that you have inner dialogue prepared for when people challenge you or when they get triggered by you, or for special occasions as well. Um, and you're off. Okay, Alta D is saying, hey Sky, please give me a reading for my love life. What is the blockage? Okay, let's see. Okay, so the card that came up to you, Sister of the Rising Sun, number 28. So you're a highly creative being with the potential to help raise the vibration of consciousness on this planet through your creative projects, work, dreams, and hobbies. The power of collaboration, choosing to work with others in joint projects, allows for synergy to occur where you can grow stronger and become more than the sum of your individual parts, calling in great cosmic assistance and potency. You're guided to remain open to other souls joining forces with you, just like the Sisters of the Sun Rising that bring great energy to help humanity through their group endeavors. When you allow for aligned group effort, something wonderful occurs. It's an important part of the spiritual journey to learn who you are and how you work, and often solitary work is a helpful way of doing it. Yet there are times when you are strong enough to work with others without losing yourself in your unique approach to your creative endeavors. Collaboration is suggested for you now to allow you to expand your horizons, to meet more people, to share your light and have more fun. So the energy that's coming in is that this is a fear of authority and adolescent, actually. So when you're healing inner child, you're dealing with like unworthiness issues, insecurity, feeling unsafe. When you're dealing inner adolescent, you're dealing with rejecting authority, feeling slightly superior, feeling like I can do this better, feeling like angry that you're being asked to um, take on more responsibility. It's that resistance to adulthood, that challenge of God instead of your parents, right? So when you're dealing with a wounded inner adolescent, the energy is like I'm better off on my own, because in order to individuate, you have to push your parents away to figure out who you are, right? So it's this energy of I have to push away a soulmate because they're not going to let me be who I am. And particularly if you had parents that didn't allow you to individuate, who didn't like who you were because you were too different from them, right? Whether it's because you weren't sporty enough or academic enough or you know masculine enough or girly enough or whatever their criteria was. If you had parents that didn't like who you were as an adult, then that's a very wounded inner teenager, right? Because in your adolescence, you are shifting from child to adulthood. And if your parents can't approve of that process, because only you get to choose the adult that you get to be, and it's a very messy process. And parents are hardwired by society to think it's a reflection of them. It's not true. Who you become is a reflection of you, but that's what they're taught. And then that creates a lot of shame when you make choices that they wouldn't approve of, or that they are triggered by. Instead of allowing them to be with you at every stage of your transformation to adulthood, it starts to make it about them. So let's do an inner adolescent healing for you so that you can start letting mature men love you, who are capable of seeing you as an adult, who are capable of letting you make your own choices, who enjoy who you are, the way that you are. There we go. There we go. I can feel so much anger here in your heart. So we're just going to call on Archangel Michael to help you grieve. My darling, you're grieving for the recognition you never got from your parents, for the validation that you never got from your parents. The parents are the initiators. We are waiting for them to say, you're a man, you're a woman now, you're ready to be an adult. I'm proud of who you've become. And if that doesn't come, there is a grieving process that can create Peter Pan syndrome for the rest of our lives. So let your heart just grieve. Let the inner adolescents feel the ache of not having had what you needed as an adolescent to become who you were supposed to be instead of becoming what they wanted. There you go. Woof. Okay, so next. Terry T. Hi, Terry. It's been a wee while. Hi, Madam Sky. May I have guidance from the angels regarding my work situation in the committee? Thank you. Yep. Let's ask. Oh, okay. So number 15, Ivory Swan Goddess. Let's see what comes. See what comes up. The Ivory Swan Goddess speaks of spiritual grace and purity. The purity of your soul light never fades, beloved. Release guilt, shame, judgment, or fear that you are not enough in any way, so that you can realize your beauty, be more of yourself, and shine your divine essence into the world. Do not cast your eyes away from the perception of your own divine inner light in all of its purity and radiance. You may find it easier to believe in the illusion of sins and unworthiness rather than the truth of your spiritual innocence. Yet, just like the purity, beauty, and grace of the Ivory Swan Goddess, your own soul is luminous, pure, and eternally grateful. You're being asked to recognize the divine energy within you without holding yourself back from unconditional acceptance and regard. It's time to accept your divinity in greater measure, to be present to the pure light within and not try to ignore it, downplay it, or worry that it is not enough. No matter what has happened in your life or what experiences or choices you've made, your soul light is as pure as the divine source itself, because essentially it is what it is. There is no need for spiritual shame or feelings of inadequacy. The light within all of us is exactly the same. We are just in different stages of realizing it. So, um, the angels are saying that at work you're encountering betrayal, violation, abuse, and misunderstanding. And they're really asking you to recognize that all spiritual people have encountered this before. What you're doing is you're taking those experiences and you're going, is there something wrong with me? Right? Um, why am I attracting this? What is it with me that's creating that behavior in other people? And you have to understand that sometimes it is our behavior or a lesson or a lack of awareness, which that aspect of you is the enoughness wound, but it's also that our light does trigger other people's darkness, right? You have to remember that even Jesus was betrayed. Every major spiritual master, whether it's Kuan Yin or Jesus, or they went through betrayal, and it's not because, that they did something bad. It's one of the tests that God places on us, of whether or not we have faith in God and whether or not we're going to have an obedient heart to the divine, as opposed to kind of like, are you only doing what God wants to get all this stuff, or are you doing it because your love is true? Are you doing it because you understand that even when something bad happens, God has a purpose for that? That it's to make you stronger, that it's to make you better, that it's to awaken a gift in you that you didn't even know that you had. It's that energy of, do you go deeper into faith when you're struggling and deeper into surrender into God's plan, or do you go into doubt and judgment? And do you betray yourself? Do you betray God when other people betray you? Or are you able to stand in your faithfulness? So betrayal is always teaching the lesson of faith and enoughness, but it's not you. You don't drop your spiritual purity. You don't drop your worthiness of God's love. You don't be like, oh, my vibration must be low. You trust and you run really, really deep with it. But there's definitely stuff going on at work that should not be going on. So we're going to call on Archangel Michael for protection. We're going to clear your office and your office environment. There we go. Whew. And we're going to bring in the angels to help you shift and evolve so that you can attract a new job or a new position, and to complete this lesson of spiritual worthiness and faith in God. Now, your guardian angel came in quite strong from this side and said you've been getting guidance to shift for a while, to apply for like a better paying position or to go to another place. So sometimes that happens as well. It's that when we're not supposed to be somewhere anymore, when it's not in alignment with us, something falls apart or doesn't go well to force us to move because our divine life purpose or our divine timing is somewhere else. Okay, that's moving nicely. Okay, Mira. No, Mitra. Hi, Sky. Thanks for all of your readings and help. I managed to separate from my husband. He is moving out. Also got a lawyer, insurance, so that I have support. Now I need to secure my basic financial needs. Darling, that's huge. That's absolutely huge. I want to just take a moment because your angels are so happy. So happy that you're no longer in that really toxic situation. That's a big deal. Now, so I can come out of survivor mode. Any advice on securing basic financial needs and still be able to publish all the poems that seem to come to me like miracle waterfalls? Thank you so much. So it's not mutually exclusive. What you want to do is make sure that, like you said, you have a basic way of meeting your financial needs. That could be a part-time job. That can be what's it called? Selling your book, your poetry book. That can be what's the word? Running events where you're teaching people how to write poetry. But the energy of it is, don't make it mutually exclusive. Most creators or influencers or spiritual healers and teachers, it's a gradual transition from employed to self-employed, and it's also a gradual transition from completely financially supported by your partner to completely financially independent. I'm not sure where you are in the world. I know that in the UK, if you've been supported by your partner financially, you'd be asking for a financial order, especially if you were married, until you find a job. And that's how it normally works here. But the way that I've always done it, I've never had a divorce, but I've also never financially relied on somebody that would resent me for that money. I don't like money with the resentment vibe. Is You want to make yourself more visible. So tell people that you're writing poetry, tell people that you're selling your poems. Um, and start communicating them, start reading them out loud on videos, start, TikToking them or YouTubing them, start monetizing your gifts. And that's what I find to be the most effective, not just for financial increase, but also for um long-term happiness, right? Is you making money from something that you're passionate about and that you love. Okay, Monica saying, hey Sky, my partner has shut down at the moment. Is he going through something difficult all by himself, or does he like someone else but doesn't know how to tell me yet? Thank you. My feeling is that he doesn't know how to tell you that the relationship is over, but I don't think it's about someone else. I think he's just not been happy for a while. He's been pulling away and pulling away and pulling away. Um, you've had 2 or 3 readings on the same situation now. So this is where the angels are kind of going mirror, like I can see them holding up a mirror in front of you with this energy of um look at yourself. So when you're obsessing about somebody else, what are they doing? Why are they doing it? You have no control over him. You can't make someone love you. When somebody isn't treating you properly, you have to look at why you're okay with accepting that, why you're waiting around, why you're trying to figure out what he's thinking instead of grieving the way he's treating you and moving on. And that is where the wound normally comes in. What is going on in your mind? Start thinking about the thought loops. If he's not in touch, are you thinking, what's the matter with me? Does he not love me anymore? Are you thinking all of thoughts about him instead of going, this really hurts. Being neglected really hurts. It doesn't feel good to be in a space where I'm constantly wondering what he's thinking or needing, and he doesn't seem to care about me at all or wonder what I'm thinking or needing, right? It doesn't feel good to be in a relationship where my needs aren't being met all the time. So, when did you learn to focus on somebody else when you were in pain? Because all of this, what's going on with him, is bypassing what is going on with you and how much pain it's causing you to be inside this situation. And if you can't feel the pain of a toxic situation, then you won't leave, right? Or you won't set boundaries, or you won't set limits. So we're going to call on the romance angels to help you be present with your feelings and stop focusing on him when he isn't behaving with integrity or honoring the relationship, and start looking at you and how it makes you feel so that you can meet your needs or move on to somebody that can, and also so that you can be clear on what your needs are. You don't, even if he was having problems, right? You don't stop existing because a man is having problems. You still exist. There we go. You deserve to be loved. You always deserve to be loved. That's not conditional on how someone treats you. That's the divine truth. So just get the angels to come in and start treating this lovability wound. And this, I'm not sure. I think it's redirection, like this focusing on somebody else's feelings obsessively and on someone else's needs obsessively to dissociate from your own. Because it's not working for you. Okay, that's looking good. Okay. Teresa Carpenter is saying, may I have a reading as to my purpose from the angels, please? Thank you. Oh. Okay. Okay. The card that came up for you is Daughter of the Phoenix. When the soul is ready to spread its wings, it goes through a deep cleansing, purification, and preparation for new levels of spiritual wisdom, power, and light. Just like the phoenix that's baptized through celestial fire to be born anew, you're going through such a phase of heavenly purification, preparation, and initiation. This is an advanced phase of soul growth, and soon after, you will enjoy greater spiritual peace, divine power, and advancements on your divine life purpose. Kuan Yin, daughter of the Phoenix, has been through fire, both physically and heavenly, and has ascended into a position of greater spiritual peace, power, and authority. She guides you now to claim your rebirth and ascend. In the same way that if we're moving house, we would need to sort through our possessions, and sometimes it's an opportunity to let go of that which we do not wish to take with us to our new life as we prepare to move into higher realms of consciousness. There are old habits, stuck emotions, and stagnant energy that do not belong in your new life cycle. The path of purification and initiation by celestial fire is preparation for spiritual enlightenment and greater happiness, well being, prosperity, success, spiritual responsibility, and leadership. It can be a challenging time, as that which would stand in the way of a new level of spiritual potency must be eliminated. And often these things are deep fears, doubts, or questions about our own worth and ability. It can feel comforting to meet those parts of ourselves consciously, yet we cannot let go if we don't even realize what we are still holding on to within us. This initiation will help you release any old baggage or pain that will not resonate with the higher level of light that you're prepared to live. It can feel challenging at times, but know there is nothing wrong. There is actually something very right behind these experiences. So, you're going through a spiritual initiation, and I have a strong gut feeling that it's about becoming a spiritual teacher and perceiving yourself as such. Um, there's a real energy of, is this really me? Can I really do this? Can I really make an income from my gifts? Can I really inspire, you know, your your flock, or your what's it called, your ministry? And it's that faith, that leap of trust. Often when we make a shift in identity, that's when other people get triggered, because they know who we were, but they don't know who we're going to become, and neither do we, right? We're still figuring it out when we're in a new identity. So let's just take that minute, right? We're just going to call on Archangel Michael to help us let the old identities that no longer serve us die, so that we can create a new one. And remember that we are the creators of our identity. Identity is not meant to create us. We are meant to create our identity. There we go. Okay. Okay. Sylvia saying, hi, Sky. Having difficulties with my colleagues. They don't want me to be here. What can I do? Can I get a healing, please? Let's start by sending in Archangel Michael and Archangel Raguel, who help to resolve relationship conflicts. Let's ask Archangel Michael to just cut your cords with all of them who are draining you of energy, who are speaking badly about you, who are intimidating you. And then I also want you to look at, is there anything that you're not doing that you're supposed to be doing, right? Are you not contributing to projects the way that you should? Are you, not showing up the way that you need to? Are you not contributing as much as the others? Because that leads to resentment as well. There we go. We need to fill the space we're in. So the angels are really saying the words to me, just a job for you. And I think that's what's the issue, is that for you, it's just a job. It's not really what you're here to do. And you're not taking it as seriously as the others are. And this is what I mean by sometimes you shouldn't be in a job, because, if you're supposed to be a spiritual teacher, if you're supposed to be an entrepreneur, if you're supposed to be self-employed, and you go into someone else's business out of fear that you won't be able to provide for yourself financially, then you're probably going to sabotage your job, and it damages other people's business, and it's not good karma. So let's just take a minute to clear that up, right? So that you get to be honest about what you want to be doing with your life. Ooh. And the angels are also asking you to change your vocabulary from I have to I'm choosing to do this. Okay. Art community saying, hey Sky, would love advice on my career. Feel like letting go of everything I used to know. Last 6 months were crazy. The new thing isn't in my reality. Guess I'm asking, what is my zone of genius? So I'm immediately getting from the angels that it's a mindset shift. It's you've got the right zone of genius. You're just underestimating the skill set required to make it shine. So for example, my zone of genius is channeling, healing, but what's required to make it shine, leadership skills, marketing skills, um, discipline, showing up on a regular basis, um, relationship skills. There's a lot of things that you have to develop to create a long-term successful community. So the angels are really saying your zone of genius is correct. It's just that your mindset is kind of when you're at a stage that you're established, they call it the curse of knowledge. So when you're at a stage that you establish, you forget what it's like to be at the beginning. At the beginning of shifting into self-employment, you're the jack of all trades, right? You're the person that takes the bin out, and you're the graphic designer, and you're the copywriter, and you're um the healer, and you're all those things until you start making enough of an income that you can hire a VA, and then you can hire a graphic designer, and then you can hire a copywriter, or so you can start having employees and building your business. But in the beginning, being the jack of all trades also teaches you how to respect other people in their position, honor the job that they're doing and how hard it is, right? And understand their contribution to your business so that you don't resent paying them or underpay them or things like that. So the issue is that when you don't go through that, most people, this is where a lot of people have trouble with hiring and paying people, and it's building their business or building their empire. When you don't go through that, it's very hard to have the respect, right, from the word go, unless you were raised in that environment for other people and pay them without resenting them, things like that. um it requires a lot of financial maturity. So what the advice that you've been given by somebody is go straight into your zone of genius, which works if you either have a lot of money, right? Or if you grew up in an environment where you're surrounded by entrepreneurs, and you have your zone of genius and your sales skills. If you don't have those two, if you just have a zone of genius, no sales skills, no market, then you're really going to struggle. So the angels are kind of going, this is not a zone of genius problem. This is a mindset problem. You're now going to have to really practice applying the different skills that you need, the marketing skills, the presentation skills, the organization skills, the business leadership skills, so that your zone of genius really shines. And it's not there yet because it takes time, right? When you look at my career or anybody else's, it takes time. When you see what looks like the instant success, it's normally because of work that's been going on for a while behind the scenes. It doesn't take forever, but it does take intense bouts of connection, because all success comes from relationships. Marketing is just a fancy word for building relationships in business, right? So you need space to build an audience. For example, when I moved to London, I ran an event every week for 2 years, just to really get to know the community and serve the community, and it sometimes there's a lot that people are doing behind the scenes, whether it's their loss, whether it's their low end programs, or their free Facebook groups, or their freebies, or that are creating those relationships. So slow down and look at what is it that I'm missing in my nurturing process, that's meaning the thing isn't here yet, and it's just gonna click into being. Oh, okay. Christina's saying, hey Sky, thank you so much for your reading yesterday. I feel a call to restore deeply with self-love before me retreating. A friend of mine, Cass, and I discovered there was a potential romantic connection. All slow, my nervous system is calm, no sex, respects my boundaries. We have regular easy talk, but right now I don't know how to handle this as I really feel the need to be alone this month. And is it important to tell him that and take some distance, or does my inner hesitation, guidance from my soul that this won't be it? Like, you are being guided by your soul to take some time for yourself. Okay. That means that, you need to really say, I am taking some time. I'm taking a month. I'm doing a retreat. I'll be in touch on such and such date. Or, I'll send you an emoji once every week to let you know that I'm all right. But, when you're recovering from long term self love wound, is not the time to be getting into a new relationship, especially when you've had like 3 or 4 back new relationships. If you were capable of love right now, you wouldn't have gotten into the mess that you're in. Right. So the reality is that this is happening to you frequently. Every partner of the opposite, every male is becoming a potential romantic partner. That's not a sign that they're the one. That's a sign that you don't feel safe by yourself. That's a sign that you don't this is even what you're saying to me is, if I take time for myself, will they still be there? If I take time for myself, will I miss my soulmate? If you're with your soulmate and you take time to yourself, that will strengthen the relationship. But you haven't even slept with this person yet, and you're already making them potentially more important than your spiritual growth and evolution. So you see how the commitment is still upside down. Your commitment to man is still much lower than your commitment to God. And it's very hard to have a healthy relationship when your partner is coming before God, because it's your divine guidance that makes the relationship work. It's God's blessing on the relationship that solidifies it and moves it, right? So it's just switching from not putting relationships first to putting God first, and trusting that when you do that, the relationship stuff works out. Okay. So let's just bring in Archangel Zadkiel to help you do that. Okay. Mary A saying, Dear Sky, I'm currently out of my country because when I left, conditions weren't safe for me and my family to be there. Can you guide me if now is a good time for me to go back? No, it's not. I'm getting a really strong no from Archangel Michael. Otherwise, if not, then how long should I wait? My love, you're not supposed to go back. You're not supposed to go back. Put down roots where you are. You're not supposed to go back. Grieve, cut cords, let go. You're not supposed to go back. Um, you're welcome for the reading yesterday, beautiful. Okay, I have to stop here, guys, because we're at time. I love you all so much. For those of you that are interested with medical intuitive, because I know some of you yesterday in the sales calls said to me that you weren't sure if you were a good enough person, or you weren't sure if you had strong enough spiritual gifts. That is exactly why I'm here. That is part of what we clear inside those calls. And I won't tell you're supposed to be there if you're not. Okay, I turned down a lot of money last year and a lot of people. If you're supposed to be there, then we will work out a way. If you're not supposed to be there, I'm not one of those people that's going to try and sucker anybody in. It doesn't work anyway. It's not the spiritual path. But if you're sitting there going, I really, really, really see myself working with you. I really, really, really know I'm an incredible healer. But I'm scared of this, and this. Please book a call and we can work through that stuff, because it shouldn't be blocking you from your divine life purpose. Let's do our closing prayer. O Great Spirit, Father Sky, Mother Earth, the winds, the waters, my Father, my Mother, Atanaha, all that is. We thank you for our lives, and we thank you for these good, good people. We thank you for all that we are and all that we are to become. We dedicate our time spent together and our relationships with one another to you, so that our suffering be ended, our pain be lifted, to the love and to the peace that lay beyond. Aho, Amen, Namaste.